Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Q's on the Move. My name is Vince Stutts, and I lead the Delaware Fatherhood and Mentoring Program for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I am an operations executive with DuPont and a proud alum of Tuskegee University. I have a strong passion for mentoring, and so tonight I have the pleasure of introducing Brother Salahudin Bin Yusuf. He leads our social action committee for the Gamma Mu Nu about how we make an impact on our young black boys and black men in our community. So with that, I will hand it off to Brother Salahudin Bin Yusuf.
Thank you very much, Brother Vice Boss, Vice Bossless of GAMU New Chapter here in Middletown, Delaware. My name is Brother Salahudin Bin Yusuf. I am a graduate of Morgan State University, Pi Chapter, and I am currently the Civil Structural and Architectural Engineering Manager at Onboard Engineering. And just want to welcome everyone here to the Q's on the Move once again. I am 696 Pi Chapter, which is in its centennial year. I'm one of the charter members of the GAMU New Chapter here in Middletown, Delaware, where I'm the Social Action Chair, the director of our Omega Manhood Bridge Builder Mentoring Program, and the president of our GAMU New Foundation. Today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about social action, fatherhood initiative, and mentoring. And let me tell you, folks, fatherhood initiative and mentoring, they go hand in hand with the social action work that we do here in Middletown, Delaware, and not only here in Delaware, but across the country. Next slide, please. So, leading political and social action. Next slide, please. The brothers here at GAMU New Chapter here in Middletown, Delaware, have been leading the way in a lot of the political and social action activities here in Middletown, Delaware. Some of the political action programs that we have performed is the NAACP Criminal Justice Reform Committee. That's a partnership with the NAACP, the Middletown Police Advisory Board, monthly presentation at the mayor and council meeting, voter registration and education, and meet the candidate with the NAACP MOT branch. Some of the many social action programs that we've performed are, like we said before, youth and adult mentoring, blood drive and health fair, Q's Adopt the Family for the holidays, leading the effort to bring Police Athletic League here to Middletown, Delaware, and Assault on Illiteracy, reading with the Q's, and book donations. Next slide, please. The Q's must always lead. We of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated GAMU New Chapter have led and continue to lead various political and social action projects by partnering with established organizations like the NAACP, where we are a lifetime member of the MOT branch. We have led the work of the Criminal Justice Reform Committee to assist in the establishment of a bylaws-directed Middletown Police Advisory Board, whose goal is to build strong connections between the police department, the community, and the mayor and council, while providing recommendations for positive improvements to our community and police department. Next slide, please. Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee, the Omega Manhood Bridge Builder Mentoring Program. At the 83rd Grand Conclave in Charlotte, North Carolina, with some of our Omega Manhood Bridge Builder mentees. The pictures here that you see were taken in Charlotte, North Carolina. On the left-hand side, that's a picture at Road Chapters on Road Chapters campus. And on the right side, That's at the Charlotte Convention. During our stay in Charlotte, our mentees participated in the International Youth Leadership Conference, as well as the Omega STEM program with many young men from across the country who also participated. Next slide, please. As you can see the picture on the left-hand side, as you can see the auditorium filled with young men in the International Youth Leadership Conference. Hats off to those chairmen of that program, especially Brother Keith G. Pemberton. And also on the right-hand side, you can see the young men and young ladies in the gymnasium at Road Chapter doing the Omega STEM program. Outstanding program. The young men and ladies got an opportunity to build and operate drones, and actually had an opportunity to race the drones throughout the gymnasium and go through many different obstacles. In the International Youth Leadership Conference, our mentees, along with the mentees from many other chapters across the country, had a great opportunity to learn many life learned lessons from brothers from across the country in all different stations. Next slide, please. Now, back home here in Middletown, we've also participated in many different mentoring programs with our youth. One of these such programs was the Police and Me program, where the young men in our mentoring program had an opportunity to meet with the Middletown Police Department officers and got an understanding of the work that they do and how to interact with them and how to keep themselves safe as well when they're out, if they're ever stopped by an officer in a car or on the street, the type of things that they should do. So this was a great program. The young men enjoyed this program as well. And it was a great opportunity for the parents as well to see what our mentoring program can provide to the youth. Next slide, please. Now, before we can even think about careers in law enforcement, we've got to finish college. So we also took our young men in our mentoring program, along with our mentors, to an HBCU tour. This was at Morgan State University. And on the left-hand side, you can see the mentees and some of the mentors standing on the steps of our Brother Hurt Gymnasium. And on the right-hand side, you can see the Brothers of GAMU New Chapter, along with the Brothers of Pi Chapter, and our mentees standing on the football field on the track, on the edge of the track. Had a great opportunity to tour the campus, learn about many of the Omega men that help bring a lot of the support to the university, and also such as Brother Earl Graves and the School of Business, and like I said, Brother Hurt and Brother Hillfield, and then also got an opportunity to see a football game of the mighty Bears of Morgan State University. Next slide, please. Now, our fatherhood and mentoring initiative has bred this Omega Manhood Bridge Builder mentoring program that we have been talking about. Our program is a hybrid mentoring program. So the reason why we decided to make it hybrid is we understand that all the mentees can't always make it in person to the mentoring session. And especially with the COVID that was going around the last few years, it gave us an opportunity to also do fully hybrid mentoring, and then to go to a hybrid format when we came out of COVID. So the young men who could attend the program could be there, and the young men who could not could also witness the activities and participate online. Our mentoring program is bi-weekly. We have subject mentoring where we can tutor the young men in math and science, SAT prep, reading, etc. We also have career mentoring where we have many of the brothers of the chapter who come in. Every time we have a session, we'll have another brother come in, might talk about engineering if they're an engineer, talk about law. Some of the brothers who are in the chapter who are lawyers, teachers who would come in and talk about their career professions, and so on and so forth. The doctors, obviously, we've had doctors come in as well. We also taught about manhood mentoring in our program, making sure that we're teaching our young men how to protect and respect women while coping with life's responsibilities. And finally, our history and me program, where every session we would give some African diaspora history lessons to the young men so they had an opportunity to know about their past. You never know where you're going if you don't know where you come from. So that was why we felt it was so important to teach about history. And you'll find out in this presentation how important we think history is on some of the other programs that we've done based on history. Next slide, please. Now, this is our blood drive health fair program that we did in our community. Now, like I said, as far as mentoring goes, mentoring is not just me sitting down telling a mentee what they should do and these are the type of programs and projects they should participate in, but it's also I got to live my creed and I've got to actually show action in the things that I'm doing. So those are the best teachers, not just hearing from me, but actually seeing the actions that I'm doing. So when we do programs like blood drives, health fairs, guess what? We're bringing our mentees right along with us to participate in those projects and actually see the brothers in action. And these young men had an opportunity to actually get letters of recommendations from us to utilize for their college careers when they're applying to college. Now they have a portfolio of projects that they've worked on in participating in these projects. But it was well put together program at the Boys and Girls Club in Bear, Delaware. And you can see the young lady who was there. She was one of the pageant winners, as she was the queen of Juneteenth. Queen of Juneteenth was at this presentation as well. So thank you very much, sister, for coming out to our program. Next slide, please. Assault on illiteracy. Making sure our young folks know how to read is very important to us. Our second cardinal principle is scholarship. So we're always thinking about that in our mentoring programs. And this is one of those mentoring programs where we're talking to young students, first through third grade, and we're reading to them and giving them books. As you can see in that upper left corner, that picture there, Brother Don Barnett, 294 Beta Chapter. I want to thank that brother for, you can see that back of that pickup truck is full of books that he donated to our mentoring program so we can give these books to the young students that we read to. We just recently had a program back in November where we read to over 300 students and gave books to over 18 classes. And this was done all in one day. So thanks to the brothers who came out to support that effort. And thanks again to Brother Barnett for his gracious donations to our chapter. Next slide, please. Now, as I was saying, the many works that we do from HBCU fairs and also trying to get a PAL program here, police athletic program here in Delaware, right here, not in Delaware, but right here in Middletown. We don't have one in Middletown. So the brothers of the chapter have been working, actively working to get that off the ground. And that's, once again, that's something that's going to help our mentoring program if we can get that PAL center established here in Middletown, Delaware. As far as the HBCU career fair, we're always supporting our students and other organizations that are putting on programs. This happened to be the Appoquinimink School District that put on an HBCU college fair, and the brothers of GAMU New Chapter were there to support and to talk to the young folks about colleges, the many colleges that we've gone to, and to talk to them about the HBCUs. Right there, you can see we have brothers from Lincoln University and Morgan State University represented at that college fair, and obviously our boss list as well, our vice boss list as well, who went to Tuskegee University HBCU. And our bossless, who went to Hampton University, and our past bossless, who went to immediate past bossless, who went to Tennessee State University. Next slide, please. HBCU virtual college fair. So not only did we do in-person college tours, and we talked about that earlier on, where we took the young men to the Morgan State University college tour to see a football game and actually tour the campus. But guess what? We also participated in virtual tours as well. And this is another opportunity to not only reach the young men who are right here in our community, but to reach young men across the country. So this virtual HBCU tour was well attended, and it was supported by various organizations that we co-sponsored this program along with, such as Delta Sigma Theta, Sigma Gamma Rho, Zeta Phi Beta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and other organizations as well, including the NAACP as well, who supported this activity and this program. So this is what's so important in all the activities that we do, to make sure that we're partnering with organizations in our community that are doing great work. And that helps to not only spread our message, not only to our local community, but to a grander audience as well. So great job on that program to all who participated there. Next slide, please. Now, we talked about that Black history, right? And learning about history and knowing about thyself. Well, during Black History Month, which was established by our brother Carter G. Woodson, with significant support from brother Judge Linwood Graves Coger, we performed a virtual Black history presentation. The presenters were brother Dr. Charles Fletcher Jr. and brother Polk. Two great historians right here in Delaware. So you can learn a whole lot about our past and interesting facts about our past from many historians who live right here in our great state of Delaware. Those two brothers gave an outstanding presentation. As you can see, the topics that they talked about: African Americans in World War II, and units that they serve within. That was a great presentation. And also the history of Black banks that was presented by brother Dr. Charles D. Fletcher Jr. And that was an outstanding program. It's things that you learned about that I never even knew about. And once again, these type of projects, you always should be inviting your mentors, your mentees, to programs just like this, and to give them a better understanding of their history and the projects and the work that you do. Next slide, please. Q's Adopt the Highway, keeping our streets clean. The Brothers of GAMU chapter performing the service in our community. Once again, bringing those mentees along with us. And I believe these mentees right here are a team of young men from one of the football teams that one of our brothers, Jamar Taylor, coaches. So thank you very much, brothers, and brother William Garrett as well, coaches. So thank you very much, brothers, for bringing your young men out to this program and this outstanding project to provide service to our community. Next slide, please. Q's Adopt a Family for the Holidays. And then you can see right there, our Vice Boss is standing up front. This program, our Vice Boss is spearheaded and has been carrying on, and we've been doing great work in our community, giving gifts during the holidays to families who may not have an opportunity to provide a lot of these gifts to their young people in their household. So we appreciate his work, Brother Vice Bosses, and you can also see over his shoulder, Brother Dr. Mark Lotta there as well, and then also our Vice Bosselis' son, Brother Stutts, back there in the back, one of our younger brothers. So welcome, younger brother, to our chapter, and great work, Brother Vice Boss, on this one as well. Next slide, please. And last but not least, Q Santa. One of our younger brothers there is sitting there in Q Santa. sitting there holding the baby. I heard that the babies were loving him, the moms were loving that Santa Claus. As you can see, we were supporting our sisters, the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, at their program as we acted as Q Santa. And that brother did an outstanding job as Q Santa. So appreciate you, team, for supporting this effort. And next slide. What's next? Well, that's a good question. What are we doing next? Well, we're going to continue to do our mentoring, continue to do this work in our community. Brother Stutts, our vice boss, who's the head of all of the committees of our chapter, has provided a lot of leadership, and obviously our bossless has also provided that leadership, bringing that leadership from the top. And these brothers have led us to continue to do this good work in our community. So, Brother Vice Boss, do you want to say anything about some of the mentoring programs that we're going to continue to do?
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple of words. So, as you can see, a lot of excitement, right? A lot of work is going into mentoring. And you think about mentoring, it's not just sitting down and having conversations with these young men and young black boys, right, about how to be a young man and developing into a man. It's also showing them what to do. So we're just not sitting down in one place every other weekend with these young folks. We are bringing them along to, hey, this is how you demonstrate being a man, right? We're picking up trash in your community. Hey, this is how you're healthy, having them participate in the health drive. Um, you know, hey, we need to be teaching our younger brothers and sisters how to read, right? Making sure they are literate. So, and then actually seeing us being impactful through social action with NAACP and partnering with the police department, so their parents see us doing that. So it's a full circle. So mentoring is really us getting out there in the entire community, not just with the mentees, but with their parents, and then interacting with the other folks in the community. So I was super excited about what we were able to do, especially down in Charlotte, and exposing those young men to that trip. That was outstanding. But I guess my question to you, Brother Ben Yusuf, is what are you most excited about what we're going to bring this year in 2023 as we
Oh,
move forward with the program?
I'm excited, brother Vice Boss. We're going to be doing a lot more work with these young men, taking some more trips. Exposure is key for a young person. Before you know what you're going to do, you need to be able to see it and be exposed to these experiences and see different things that you wouldn't normally see in your local community. So we're going to be taking these young men on different trips. We were talking about going to some military bases. We were talking about even potentially having an opportunity to go to the International Leadership Conference in the Bahamas, and taking them to the International Youth Leadership Conference as well, while they're in the Bahamas as well. So all types of projects like that. That's what our goals are. Hopefully we can achieve that. I mean, there's some fundraising required to do those things, but we're going to continue to work at those things, because we believe that this stuff is really important. And the one last thing I just wanted to add, Brother Vice Boss, like you said, it's not just the young folks, it's the adults as well. And so all of our brothers in our chapter, not only are we mentoring young people, but we're also mentoring the adults as well. I always look at mentoring is learning from my mistakes and trying not to repeat them. So if you see me, if I can tell you like, hey, I walked down the street when I was your age and I fell through 3 manholes, you're going to say, well, guess what? I'm not going to walk down that same street. I'm going to go in a different direction. And then learning from my accomplishments. Like, hey, I walked down that street over there and I was able to get on the bus really quickly, and I was able to get to school, and all these good things happen. Well, guess what? You heard that. You're going to follow that along as well. But guess what? That doesn't just end when you turn 19 or 21 or 18 or 21. That continues in your life. We always need mentors, every last one of us. And so we continue to mentor even at work, in our professions, and also adults in our community as well. So I like sharing those experiences, but good work, and appreciate you, Brother Vice Boss.
Thank you. And as we prepare to wrap up, I did want to say, what I'm excited about this year with our youth is really growing our program, bringing in more students. So excited about that. And then the exposure piece, right? As you mentioned earlier, and specifically around exposure, more exposure to STEM, right? So partnering with some of our brothers in the chapter, not just folks like me that are in the engineering field, executive field, yourself, but also we have a brother who's connected with coding. So we're going to teach these young men how to code and those opportunities, right? So exposing them to that. So super excited about what's coming in 2023. And I appreciate everyone tuning in. Great opportunities for not just us, but also for the young men and their parents. So with that, I'd say appreciate you taking the time with us. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching Q's on the Move.